Give us a little bit more play. You're gonna run that at the very bottom of the bike. Hi, I'm Mike. Welcome to another Motovation USA video, guys. This is the all-in-one place where you can shop for all premium parts at motivationusa.com. But on this video, we're gonna show you how to install the EvoTech tail tidy for the Aprilia RS660. Super excited for this build. Let's go, let's get it. Our very first step is gonna be to remove the rear cowl and also the seat. Pretty straightforward there. Now we're gonna pull the seat off. And now you're gonna need a 10mm socket. These are not super tight. Should be able to pull them out fairly quickly. That way we can remove this piece of plastic. Also remember how these comes out so you can put them back. Moving on to this little rear area here, you're gonna need a 5mm hex key. And then we're just gonna pull this plastic off. So be mindful, there are tabs. Shimmied side to side, I pressed a little bit and then yanked up. Perfectly fine. Helpful tips with you guys. So one thing that I've been doing moving forward when I'm doing installation, if you have excess little zip ties around, I like to put everything all together. Just so you can remember exactly how they went. Again, this is like a derivative of taking a photo of everything that you're doing as a reference point, but this is next level. Definitely a really good tip for you to store everything. By the way, shout out to Jojo, really dope guy. He does this as well. This is a great means for you to store things away and for you to be able to find them back later without having any issues, and you know exactly how they go. It stays together. We'll do the same thing for this lower area here that I did take off with that nut. There's actually a couple of ways of doing this. If you look at Aaron Colton, he does something somewhat similar, but his is more labeled, written down somewhere. So there's different versions of this. You can always create your own, but I tend to learn from other people that are doing things correctly or doing things really well and see what they're doing and take some of their best practices. So great way for you to kind of keep things together, keep things organized, and being able to kind of put things back together as they were. Moving on, we're gonna remove these 4 screws here, guys. I have these little bins where I can put my screws in so I don't mess anything up or lose anything. Ideally, we want to get a little bit more clearance to get into the screws that are holding the tail tidy at the very bottom. So that's why we're gonna loosen these up. They're not super tight. Keep that in mind. We'll also do these other 2 back here as well. Now that all 6 screws are out of the way, it should give you a little bit more play in the fairing. That way you'll be able to shimmy this black section out of the bike. All right, let's give that a shot. There we go. That's one side. Look like it's coming out fairly easy. There you go. Next part is out. Looks good. A couple of steps that needs to get done before we move to actually removing the OEM tail. All right, you're gonna pull out some of the wiring here. Just be mindful what you're doing and seeing where everything goes. So you don't wanna start yanking things out like a mad person. Give us a little bit more play. And then, looks like there's an anchor here that holds this set of wiring. So this is what we're going after. It's clearly notated, guys. You're gonna undo this exact, let's see here. Can you guys make that out? There we go. There's a black connector down here. This is for the tail tidy. Also have the connector if you're gonna do an up map down here as well. So we're gonna undo this one and then unplug it. That's been undone. Now that gives us clearance. That way we can pull out the tail tidy. Yeah, just before we go to the next step, you're gonna need yourself a 10mm wrench just to squeeze here. It is a very tight working area. And then you're gonna need yourself a T-Torx 30 for the bottom area. Give you guys a little bit more of a closer look. I'll just pull out that 10mm so you could have a little bit more clarity here. This is the connector. I've already undone them. These two are done. That's for the tail tidy. Turn signals and plate light's gonna go on there. All right, tuck that away a little bit so I can have room to work. See that nut right there? You'll see my finger touching it. You're gonna take yourself a 10 millimeter and then you're gonna squeeze that in. There are two of them, one on the left side and then one on the right. There you go. You can see my wrench is sandwiched in there nice and perfect. And then at the bottom of the bike, you have a T-Torx 30. We're gonna undo that. So let's move to the bottom of the bike so we can see what's happening. There you go, that T-Torx is in. Just be careful when you're pulling out that nut because it is a little troubling. If you have issues getting that out, make sure you have like one of those magnet thingies. Perfect, managed to get that out nice and smooth. All right, and here's the other. There's one more right down there. Let's get it. Last screw. Screws out. Make sure that your wire is not caught up in anything before you yank anything off or down. And just like that, the OEM tail is off. Now we're gonna do a little bit of preparation work with the EvoTech version because it does require a little bit of assembly and reusing of the turn signals. Hopefully down in the future, I'll update that as well. But let's get to work and finalize this. We're currently on the bench. We're gonna dismantle the OEM plate holders. Okay, we're gonna repurpose the left and right hand turn signals. Let me just start by doing that so you can see the overall idea. It's not rocket science, but you're gonna end up repurposing these OEM wirings to keep things as kosher as possible. Let's see here. So some of the clips are just anchored in. You're gonna have to yank a little bit, but definitely doable. This is the one that's requiring a little bit more effort. Perfect. All right, now we're gonna undo the left hand and right hand turn signals. All right, here we go. We got the clusters all taken apart. You can see here there is a red tape around the right hand side and the left hand side turn signal does not have one. As backup, I always have like a plan B. I had a white zip tie and a black zip tie to kind of differentiate them. That's great work by Aprilia. Not very often I see this done by manufacturers. So to me, I think that's a great deal, but I can tell with the red is the right hand side and then the white's going to be, the white with the blue wire is going to be the left hand side. And for the license plate, there's a little bit of a clip here. You're going to press down and you're going to release. There we go. I did the trick. And we're going to do the same thing here with the right turn signal. There's like a pinch that we do here to get that out. There we go. Right turn signal's done. We're going to pull that one out. And that one's off as well. So you're going to end up with 3 sets of wiring for the OEM harness. Now it's completely dismantled. Now we're going to take all the parts from EvoTech Performance and assemble everything all together. Oh man, looks like I might have done an extra step by taking this off, which I didn't have to. It's okay. They provide an LED version. I'm just unboxing everything right now so you can kind of see. Whew. Now that it's all put together, I transfer the OEM turn signals, left hand side, right hand side, into the Evo Tech housing. Everything looks really, really good. I haven't tightened these yet down completely. I want to run a test. I'm going to turn on the bike, plug this in, and see if everything works as it's supposed to before going any further. Let's give it a shot. Left turn signal. Everything looks good. Let me hold that up for you guys. Then right turn signal. Alright, that seems to be good. Let's button things up and wrap up. First you're gonna grab that bushing that's supplied by Evo Tech Performance. Use the longest screw that they gave you, and then we're gonna run that at the very bottom of the bike. Pretty straightforward from here. You're gonna have the washer. You're gonna run this right through. And then you have a nut. The nut actually meets on the very top here. I'm gonna show you how that goes as I'm screwing it in. It takes a little bit of finessing since there's such a tight working space. You have a lot of excess. Just gonna hand tighten straight through. There you go. Now it's tight. Not completely tight where it's completely done, but tight enough to hold it. Figured I'd give you guys a little bit of a closer tight look of this. Move all the wiring out the way. Right down there, right here. That's what the wrench was holding. Now we're gonna jump and do the other side. I'm gonna run the nut down first. You have very little leverage. I'm using the wrench to anchor the nut into the slot. All right, quick heads up guys, when you're installing this part, there's some flat head screws that can't be screwed. You can probably see them here, just like that. You're gonna put that right over here. That way it anchors on flat, and there you go. And then you're gonna take the plastic nut that they give you, and you're gonna run that right behind. Then you can adjust it to your liking or where it fits best for your license plate. Very cool. You could adjust those to your liking or adjust them a little bit higher up. The one thing I think that'd be great about this kit, if there was a tucked in version. It would have been great if there was a tucked in version as well, because most people here in the US like to ride with their plates tucked, including myself. But this will have to do, and looks pretty good so far. Feels very sturdy, very well built, and that's pretty common with Evotech Performance parts, you know, quality. As you guys are aware, all of the videos that we push out here, guys, we install them on our own bikes, and they're a trusted brand that we love to support, Evotech Performance. So, for example, some of the biggest areas of opportunities from the videos I've seen online, some people are unaware which screws or nut goes where. So I would highly suggest you follow this video to a T. For example, the rubber nut and rubber screws go specifically for the plate, and there's a real purpose for them doing that. It's because you're gonna get water and everything else, so no rust. And then the flat head screws that are completely flat are designed to fit flush to a specific area. I've noticed where some people are completely negate those and just use whatever screws that they want, but they all serve their own purpose. It does require a little bit more digging for you to get it correctly, for you to know. Hence why we do these videos, guys, for you, so you can do it properly when you're doing it for your own motorcycle. There's a little collar that goes right here with the screw, 4mm. Gonna drop that in. Hand tight everything as usual before doing anything crazy. Now there is a collar that falls right in here as well. You're gonna drop that little collar in. You're gonna take that, I think that's a 10mm hex. Yep, 10mm. Then the usual hand tight. Okay, perfect. And then we're gonna wrap up the last screw and then put the seat on. Perfect. And then let's do a test real quick. Make sure everything is working properly before finishing up. Everything looks great, guys. Let's button the bike back on, put the seat on and the rear cowl. There we go, guys. Just like that, we're all done. Looks incredible with the tail tidy. Again, I'd probably much prefer smaller turn signals, something more subtle. But this is way better than what comes OEM. Highly recommend that you grab this mod from motivationusa.com. You'll thank me later. As recommended, use your parts purchase to support the store that support your sport. Motivation USA gives back to the riding community with everything from safety seminar courses and worldwide racing sponsorships. For the most trusted parts and accessories, shop motivationusa.com. All links will be in the description down below. And remember, ride safe and ride often. I will this season. Aprilia RS660. Let's go, baby.